Hey everybody, Cowboy Brett coming to you from the Alfalfa Bale studio today with another tall tale. You've all probably heard of the Professional Bull Riders Association, the PBR, and all the glitz and glamour that goes with it. But prior to the PBR, there was one event that I knew down in our area that only focused on bull riding. It was a one event kind of a rodeo, so to speak. And all they did was bull riding. It was the Ardmore JCs. They were started back in the late 60s. And in the early 80s, they might have been doing this beforehand, but I was introduced to it in the early 80s. They had a junior bull riding event going on during the intermission of when they had all the regular bull riders competing. So they'd have, 10 or 15 of them ride, and then they have an intermission, and then they have 10 or 15 more of them ride, and then they have another intermission, and then they have a third round of them. So they had several bull riders that evening. But during the junior bull riding, when I was 12 years old, was the first time I got to go to it, and happened to get to enter that year, and I got lucky and ended up winning it that night. And a classmate of mine, John Rushing, he also was there riding that night, ended up placing second. And the cool thing about it was when I got through riding my bull and everything, my steer, I was just 12, and I get back behind the chutes with my dad, and he's hugging me, high-fiving how proud he was of me and everything. And he was like, "Do you know who that judge was that you went out there and shook his hand?" Because when I got through riding steers then, I'd go collect my bull rope, and I'd go over and shake both of the judges' hands. Well, after we got done, they awarded us this great big tall trophy and everything. And Dad asked me afterwards, he said, "Do you know who that judge was?" And I was like, "No, Dad, I'm just some nice guy." And he goes, "That was Freckles Brown." And I said, "Okay." I'm 12 years old. I don't know who Freckles Brown was at the time. And he goes, "That's the guy that rode Tornado." And I went, "Wait a minute, that's the guy that rode Tornado?" And he goes, "Yeah." Well, when we were kids growing up, rodeoing and everything, we used to love listening to Mo Bandy and Joe Stampley and Red Steagle and all that stuff. And Red had this album out, and it was For All My Cowboy Friends was the name of the album. And on it was a song called Freckles Brown, and it told the story of him riding Tornado at the '67 National Finals Rodeo here in Oklahoma City. And for me to have met Freckles was a really, really big deal. After I realized who he was and everything, I went back out, introduced myself to him, and said hi again when the bull riding was over with. But that was a big, big deal back in my life back then when I finally knew who he was. The cool thing about that story was a few years ago I actually got to go down to Red Steagle's Cowboy Gathering down at Fort Worth. Also happens to be at the end of October, and actually got to meet Red Steagle and everything. So really, really cool guy. Does a lot down there in the way in the cowboy culture and everything. And that's a great event if you ever get a chance to be able to go to it in late October. But anyway, getting back to meeting Freckles and everything, that was really, really cool. And I can't remember if it was that year or the following year. I happened to be standing on the back of the chutes and was helping guys pull bull ropes and stuff. And this one guy jumped on the back of it and on the back of the chute, and he's helping his buddy pull his bull rope. And the guy in the chute, he's just kind of got this real high pitched voice, and he's talking real loud and real fast and everything. And he's pull it up there, Tough, pull it up there, Tough. Well, it was Tough Hedeman standing on the back of the chute pulling his rope, and he said, "More, give me more." And Tuff's, he's just leaning into this rope for all he's worth, but he can't get it tight enough for this guy. And so I reach over there and grab his tail, and I'm helping him pull. So, I felt like, I'm 12, 13 years old, feel like I'm doing something good for him, and get it tight enough for him. We lay that rope across there, and that bull rider jumps down on that bull and goes, "All right, outside, boys," and out he goes. Well, that bull rider was Lane Frost. So kind of turned out to be a pretty big deal. But man, the JCs was a big, big deal back in the day. That was the thing you look forward to every year, was going to that big bull riding at Hardy Murphy Coliseum there. I happened to get to go down there and rope last fall, and they've got a new arena set up. They actually got two new arenas set up outside for team roping. They're quite a bit bigger than what's inside the Hardy Murphy. And so I walked actually inside the Coliseum to take a look around, and they had completely taken the entire bucking chutes out of the east end of Hardy Murphy Coliseum. I don't know when it was that they did that. I haven't been down there in a number of years, but was really saddened to see that have gone. I know that it's, times they're changing, and but it was disappointing to see those gone, because there's a lot of good memories in those bucket shoots when I was a kid growing up. But that was a lot of fun. I'm getting to meet Freckles Brown in that building, and get to pull Lane Frost's bull rope and helping Tough do it. A lot of fun. I'm sure there's a lot of folks in the rodeo world that have been through Hardy Murphy that have got stories to tell. I remember seeing Cody Ohl rope in there, and I remember him ripping the tail off of the calf one time. I'll tell that story right quick too. So when Cody was he was probably 12 or 13, something like that. This was at a Memorial Day calf roping that Barry Burke put on. And there was I can't remember this left-handed kid's name, but he could rope calves like there was no tomorrow. And I remember watching him come out, and he'd come out and swing over the top of that chute and get those calves roped and go down the left side. And he did everything left-handed, tied left-handed, got off the left side, and roped left-handed the whole 9 yards. And he probably had a good 4 or 5 second lead on Cody going into the final 2 go rounds. It was like a 5-round, five calves or something like that. And but Cody was pretty tough. And this was, again, back when he was under the age of 13. And I watched that kid put 2 calf roping runs together, and end up winning that big calf roping. But the craziest thing I saw was when he roped one calf, he figure eighted the tail on that calf's rear end, and just kind of put the hickey around the top of that calf's tail. And when that rope came tight, his tail went bing and shot straight up in the rafters. And so he went ahead and just went on like nothing happened. Went ahead and tied the calf. Tail came down, landed in the middle of the arena, and Cody ended up winning the roping. But a lot of good things happened in that Hardy Murphy Coliseum. Had a lot of good memories down there. But hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll never forget having met Freckles Brown. I got a big 3-foot trophy out of it. It was a lot of fun, and having gotten to pull Lane's bull rope. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. If you do, please like, subscribe to the channel, share the videos, and we appreciate you guys being here. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. This is Cowboy Brett coming to you from the Alfalfa Bale Studio.